Hi everyone, it's Maureen Muldoon, and we are on lesson 180 with A Course in Miracles. We're going to take a 180 here. We're not. We're still going straight ahead. Stay focused, my friends. We are on course with 180, God is but love and therefore so am I. And the lessons are by grace I live, by grace I am released, and there is no cruelty in God and none in me. Really? Okay. Okay. God is but love and therefore so am I. Go ahead and say that aloud to yourself. God is but love and therefore so am I. You can sing it. God is but love and therefore so am I. I don't know. I think that helps me. I don't know if it helps you, but that helps me. God is but love and therefore so am I. By grace I live, by grace I am released. I mean, we've all had our experiences where life has given us a few classrooms. And it can be kind of painful. But nothing has come unbidden. That's what the Course says. And everything that's happened to us has actually happened for us. And so the divorce, the cancer, the death, all of it has been in some ways a tenderization so that we could experience the human condition and be more helpful to other people who experience problems. You know, I mean, there's a part of me that thinks like, you don't have to learn that way. Like, I know I don't have to learn that way. I can learn in grace, and that's why the next lesson, by grace I live, by grace I am released. Like, I don't have to learn through pain anymore. Thank God. But all of that pain that went before, and really, who has had a happy childhood? I don't think there is such a thing as a happy childhood. That's probably an oxymoron. But all of that sort of gives us a certain spiritual maturity so that when someone comes to us and says, he's leaving me, or my dad died, or I've realized I got this diagnosis recently, that we're not like, don't worry, it's no problem. I mean, of course, we mentally think that. I mentally think that there's no problem that God can't solve. But we want to meet people where they're at. And so, so that's what we get to do. We get to, really be present. So these experiences have afforded us the ability to be with people when they're in pain. I mean, if we're going to be here in the world, it's nice to just run out into the forest and just hang out in the, trees. But eventually we are all here to be helpful. So there's only so much, hiding out that you want to do. You want to get back into the world and be of service. No, I never thought I'd say that. You want to be of service? What? What are you, freaking Mother Teresa over here? Actually, being of service is like the best high. You know it. It's like being of service is, especially when you're of service to something that you love to do, like, studying A Course in Miracles, or people say, oh, thanks for doing these lessons. Like, I really love these lessons. I said that yesterday. By grace I live, by grace I am released. I can open up to the grace of God, and the grace of God will lift me from the fray of my own fractured thinking and my unforgivenesses. Let God's grace support you. Entertain the idea of God's grace. Know that you're worthy of God's grace. By grace I live, by grace I am released. I'm released of all of the rough and worries of the world. God's grace, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like those beautiful miracles that unfold for you when you really think that you get to that place where you think you're alone and nobody loves you, and then somehow God's grace comes, and the right phone call or the right message or the right song on the radio taps you on the shoulder and says, like, you're not alone. So, my friend, you're not alone. God loves you. God is sending you love notes all day long. And then the next lesson that we're in the review of is there's no cruelty in me and none in God. This is a powerful lesson. If you want to go back and read the entire lesson, there's no cruelty in me and none in God. it's a big dismantling of an old definition of God. God's not cruel. God is love. And I was actually sharing about this today on our calls. It's like when Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz goes to see the Oz. Like the Oz wants to help her, wants to bring her back home, but she has this fear. So she goes with her friends. And the Oz, the guy behind the thing, he pretends that he's like this big bad person, but it turns out he's just this little dude. God's not a little dude, but that's the same thing that we do with God. We sort of make God much bigger and scarier than God is, and so we kind of think like, I'll just figure it out on my own. I don't really want to go to God. We're such, feral cats, we just love to run around the block and keep at arm's distance from love. I don't know why, but it's okay. It's all forgivable. But there's no cruelty in God. So if you have a God who you think is cruel and mean and judgmental, then I would suggest that you fire that God and get yourself a new God. And you can do that. You have my full permission to do so. Not that you need my permission, but if you were needing permission, go ahead. Get yourself a bigger God. Get yourself a compassionate, loving, beautiful God. Ooh, many years ago, I wrote a definition of my God. I'm going to go read it. Hold on. I sort of found this piece of paper this morning, and it's kind of like what I thought of my God. It said, and so maybe it'll give you inspiration to rethink your relationship with your own divine. So this is called My Divine. My divine is graceful and elegant and wise beyond. She is infinite and resourceful and takes me seriously. She is regal and loving, and she dances and she sings and creates completely, embracing her femininity and sees it as power and not vulnerability. My God loves children and animals and art and nature and me. My God delights in me. She's an older friend, a perfect sister. She can be irreverent if she needs to be. She personifies flow and care. She's effortless. She's beauty beyond beauty. Just some of the things I wrote about my God. So, it's kind of a nice exercise. Romance your God. And let go of any idea of a mean God. God isn't mean. We've given God a lot of bad PR, and it's time that we clean that up. So, God is but love, and therefore so am I. By grace I live, by grace I am released. There is no cruelty in God and none in me. God is but love, and therefore so are you. By grace you live, by grace you are released. There's no cruelty in you and none in God. God bless and namaste.